Ready?
Thank you. My name is Tom Roby. I'm captain with Bardstown Police Department, of course, Chief McCubbin. Today, the Bardstown Police Department responded to a bank robbery at Wilson Muir Bank, branch bank, located at Culpeper and John Rowan Boulevard, Bardstown. We got the call at approximately 10:27. When the alarm came out, we had a quick response. We got a large turnout of all the city police. We had a large amount of Nelson County Sheriff's Department deputies and a couple of troopers of an area that also flooded the area. We saw some of the local media there also, so we had a lot of ears out. Our dispatch center did a great job. They put this out. They also let all the fire department, volunteer firemen, EMS personnel know what's going on, so we've got more eyes and ears in the city when these calls come out. Within minutes we were there. Officer Dave Kohler of the city police had went to the Walmart after we determined a suspect description and where he was last seen at. We were able to determine a suspect vehicle, and I've got a couple of photographs. This is a photograph off the screen of the suspect vehicle. We quickly then got this disseminated amongst all the officers in the area, and we began expanding our search pattern. We had an approximate description of the robber, and in this case he matched the same MO of two previous robberies that we had in Bardstown, one in March and one in April. With that, shortly after we expanded our search area throughout the area parts of the city, we were looking for this particular vehicle, which we believed to be older model Ford Ranger, reddish color, had a couple of large white objects in the bed of the truck. And from there, approximately at 11:27, Detective Chris Smith of the City Police located this vehicle parked at a residence on McCubbin Boulevard in Bardstown. From there, officers converged on the scene. There we detained David W. Smith, 51, of Bardstown, and another passenger that was with him. From there, the vehicle was impounded to the police department, and we brought Mr. Smith to the police department where he could be questioned, and also the passenger. In the process of obtaining search warrants for Mr. Smith's residence and the vehicle, Mr. Smith confessed to his portion of the robbery. He also confessed that he was the lone robber and that he had committed the two previous robberies at your community bank in Bardstown. He's been charged with robbery first degree. That's where we're at. The response is in large part due to some of the things that Chief McCubbin has expanded on, and I'll let him explain that to you.
The issue of bank robberies, as you all know, in Bardstown is I guess it's strange. You know, I think the last bank holdup we had was a couple of years ago, and since December we've had 4 here in town. The first one we've determined is not related to these last 3. Though we have someone, we don't have that piece of evidence and that one piece of information that we need to where we could legally charge him. So we're working on that. But we started reaching out to the banks just early this week, actually. I wrote up a letter, and what I did was ask all the beat officers to go to every branch on their beat, talk to the bank employees. And the encouragement of this letter was, do not wait on the alarm company. What we asked the bank tellers to do, obviously be observant, but as soon as that suspect flees, lock yourself in the bank to protect yourself and immediately get on the phone to call us so that we can be looking for the suspect, a vehicle while we're en route. A lot of precious time is wasted while we get there and determine it and then get it out. And I don't know if we want to say we're happy it worked or we're sad it worked, because obviously that meant a 4th holdup. But a bittersweet, it worked. And the bank tellers at Wilson and Muir did as we had suggested earlier in the week, and the video shows them locking themselves in. They got right on the phone. Nelson County Dispatch did a wonderful job of getting it out to us while we were en route. And it was obvious to us this was the same suspect of the first 2. So we knew we were looking for this specific person. We still had no suspect vehicle at all. And as Captain Roby indicated, Officer Kohler immediately went to Walmart, and that's where he sat and literally watched minutes of Walmart's parking lot. And we caught a glimpse of a suspect running. And with the help of Walmart, we were able to backtrack, literally backtrack that person's steps to a car, to his entry, and determined that within a 3-minute time frame when he parked, exited towards the bank, came back in and fled, that was the suspect vehicle. And I can't say enough about the officers, the deputies today, what they did, because I know our detectives have been frustrated. This falls in their lap. And over the last couple of months since these started, they have been putting pieces of evidence together, whether small or large, anticipating that if this suspect hit again, we would catch him, but we wanted to have our case lock solid. So a lot of investigation has gone into the suspect. And due to their diligence and their investigation, with the video, with all the evidence that the detectives had, the great job our officers did of picking up on that vehicle, when we did finally corner our suspect, we basically had more than enough to put all 3 of them on him, and he apparently knew it. Our evidence was overwhelming to the point that he did, as mentioned, he did confess to all 3 of them to our detectives. He really had no argument. We had far too many pieces of evidence that linked him to it. So we are we're obviously happy to report to our community, because it has rattled some people, and those of you that from here, you know it has us. Because bank robbery is obviously a felony, a first-degree robbery, and can be federal. And we're going to be contacting the FBI, who's been shadowing it, to see if they're interested in taking this federal, because bank robbery is a federal offense. I personally hope they do, but that will of course be determined by them. So we'll open it to any questions, anything we need to fill in the blanks or anything.
Rick, I got a couple questions. Your description earlier, that you thought it might be a dark-skinned person. Does this guy fit that description, or?
Yeah, the first of the 3, one of the tellers said possibly a light-skinned black male, but she could not be 100% sure, but she said possibly. The second and third couldn't even determine, so we didn't even put out black or white male, we just put male. But when you look at the suspect, he does have kind of that ruddy look, that complexion that. And again, there was really nothing visible but his eyes,
right, and
a little bit of skin here and there. So that's why we just kind of went with male. We did not want to say white male or black male, definitely, because we felt that would be quite unfair to anybody, exactly. So we wanted to leave it at what we had.
Right. The passenger, expect any charges to be filed, or will you be identifying the passenger? Or
we will not, because he was not charged, so we won't identify him, but we did determine he had nothing to do with the holdup. That even the video evidence indicates he was by himself in the bank and the vehicle.
Who was the truck registered to?
A family member.
Yeah, I would say it was a family, his brother, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you recover a weapon?
No,
Do you believe that he used a weapon at this point?
we do not. And robbery first degree, I will say that, if you indicate, threaten, or use force, is still robbery. So whether you use your finger and a cloth or a gun, it is still robbery first degree. So regardless if he did have a gun, that will be irrelevant to our charges. It's still robbery first degree. So.
You said you saw the truck. How'd you trace it to McCubbin? I may have missed that part.
Good police work. We spread the city. We had enough police on the street. We changed our tactics a little bit since we've been having. We wanted to make sure that we had just enough officers at the scene to secure the scene, and the order was standing for all other officers, spread Bardstown.
Just go
spread
around.
Bardstown.
Okay.
And that's honestly what we did. We had, between the Bardstown police and some of our deputy sheriffs, we had a large several-mile radius of that bank covered within minutes. And one of our detectives just happened to fall in behind that vehicle on one part of our town.
Do calls typically go from the bank to the alarm system to dispatch? Is that what you're talking about when you said don't wait for the alarm company?
Yeah, most, like a business with a burglar alarm or any business with a robbery alarm, when you activate the robbery alarm, it goes to whatever alarm company you use, which in turn notifies the dispatch center of that community. And that's good, and they should, because we don't want a teller hurt trying to pick up the phone, but there's precious time there. We've determined that unfortunately some of our holdups there's been an unacceptable amount of time.
Right.
And so that's why we ask our tellers to when it's safe, obviously we don't want anyone hurt, to call us directly so that we're already looking while we're en route. And again, today was a great indicator. Though we didn't have that vehicle, we knew this was our suspect for all three. And then, we're able to tie it in.
Rick, do you have an estimated amount of money taken today or from the past 2 rounds?
We do, but we won't release that.
Okay.
We will not release an amount of money.
Okay.
Was the money recovered? Or a portion?
Yes, I will say that, and before you leave here today, I think our detectives have some stuff they're going to show. So, but yes, we're fortunate for the bank on this one. We did recover some money.
On this one?
Yes.
What about the previous one? Was there any money around?
No. He, of all three holdups that he did, the money probably was used immediately. We were just quick enough today to actually get the bank's money back today, so.
All right, and I guess some of our conversation, people like that question, I don't mean to ask them all, but,
ask one.
well,
Sure,
but
ask one.
kind of bold twice in 1 week and in such an open area. What precipitates that?
Desperate people do desperate things. And like most every crime in this community, sadly, it's drugs. And there's no other way to form that response. It's drugs. So when you're desperate, you're fiending, you need it, you will do whatever you think you can get away with, as he did.
Okay, so there are indications that's what it was.
Yeah.
in this case.
Yeah. Rolf, I think you.
No, the money recovery was.
Okay.
That's,
Jim, I think you had
That was
something.
about, same question about the money.
Did you say that this was the first time that Smith came on your radar?
Yes.
Today was when you...
Yes, we only had suspect description. We had no vehicle, we had no name, we had nothing but the description. And again, the description, we knew today, it was our guy, whoever our guy was, we knew this was him. And then due to the good work of a Detective Smith, no relation of course, we were able to get our Smith that we needed. So, thank you.
Chief, can you talk about what this means to the Bardstown Police Department and to finally have, a little bit of resolution? It's not necessarily, all the resolution that belongs in this town, but, people are worried about, unsolved crimes and things of that nature. What does this mean for you all to get this guy?
Well, obviously, it's our biggest reward, It's our job to capture, prevent, then capture. And since we can't always prevent, it's our benchmark is high. I want someone in jail for every offense. That's the high benchmark. But it is good for the department. Because as I mentioned, when we've had, one holdup in 3 years, and then we've had 4 in less than 5 months. But it's desperate times. And we knew we wanted to get this person because eventually, the brazen get brazener. Someone's going to get hurt. Someone's going to stand up to this person. Somebody's going to get shot. So we obviously wanted to get them. But it indicates too, and I know on the social chatter, we're big on our social media and transparency here. A lot of people want to know why, and that's that TV mentality. And I've tried to say before that even if we're going to wait an extra month or 6 weeks, we want the evidence to put that person. We're not going to jump the gun too soon. At least that's my philosophy. So if it takes us longer than some people in the community want, we're building our case. And I mentioned earlier what our detectives did was a fantastic job of having it so tight there was no way that this suspect could deny it. And so I hope the community knows, we've had some rough, a rough month. We had the shooting. We arrested 4 people for attempt murder. Our guys were on it. We had the city spread. We finally have enough police on the street, I think, in the community that we're able to get to things quickly. The same platoon, actually, that worked the day of that shooting on East Flagey was working today. And, just being out there. So, we just try to let the community know we're not going to give up. And we're not going to give up on that first bank holdup either, like we are any of the crimes. It's just a matter of time.
Could you give the timeline again from the first robbery, how long ago it was?
The first robbery
Yeah.
was December 2014. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, then we had March and then 2 in April. Am I correct?
and he was not involved in the December robbery.
Yeah.
Or we've not, so it's just a recent one?
Yes, the last 3. We've had 4 since December.
Okay.
The first one is a lone man whom again, we think we know, but he's done 3. Today's being the 3rd and final. we hope.
And those banks are all in the city?
Yes, all in the city. All 4 were in the city limits.
And is it safe to go ahead and say that he was alluding to that he was robbing banks because of drugs?
I'm sorry.
Was he robbing banks and needing the money for drugs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Rick, when you say you had evidence that helped you with this case, can you elaborate any on that or talk about what tied the others to this one with him after you just basically called him with his truck and everything?
Not really, because it's good part of the case, so
Okay.
I don't want to say a lot, but you know, the detectives have spent hours building it, and I think it'll come out in the case. It's pretty solid case, and I'm happy to say that. Yes, sir.
Had you dealt with the suspect before?
I have not.
Okay.
I don't know if any of our officers have in the past.
You don't know you don't have any information on his past criminal history?
He has a criminal history, but I can't tell you the details on it. Follow up on the questions that was posed to the chief is, we've expanded our platoon system. We're trying to saturate the area with more patrol units. We've expanded our detectives. We want to expand more. But again, this is just where it's a perfect storm for us. We're having a lot of police, but we made news yesterday recovering a small house dog. We take all crime seriously. We don't care if it's a bank robbery. If you're a victim in this town, we want to know that your crime. We know it's important to you as it relates to you, and we treat all crime that way, and that's why we're doing what we're doing. And Chief McCubbin has started some new programs, and we're hoping to expand even more. And he says we're up manpower. Hope we get to grow a little bit more. But we're on the right track. And transparency. We get so much feedback from our community, and that's what's key. Is we work with our community, as most of the local media knows, and we get a lot of positive feedback. We're not here asking for a pat on the back, but we're a partnership. We're vested. We live here. When you're vested in your community, you want the best for your community. We're applying only our personal, but our professional aspects to how we're policing that.
And we're certainly happy that the dog is home, but 57,000 people read that and shared that on Facebook. If we could get that much cooperation for burglaries and robberies as we do a cute puppy, we would be doing even better than what we're doing. And I'm glad the dog's home, but it just, it shows that it's out there, just what people will help with and not. Yeah.
How many officers do you normally have on a daytime shift, such as when it happens?
We have 5 officers on every platoon. So every hour of the day, we work 12-hour shifts. So you have 5 officers daytime, 12 hours, and then 5 in the evening. So we have, in our city's 3 beats, 1 supervisor, 1 additional patrol. So,
And then 1 detective assigned for each beat.
Anything else? Well, thank you all. I think in the rear, the detectives have put out the stuff that we've recovered today.
That concludes our broadcast.